Okay, I want to talk about seating your bullets. Okay, now that we have trimmed and chamfered all our cases, I found this is a good time to set your bullet seater. Just for the simple fact that you're working with an inert case. No primer, no powder. When setting your bullet seating die, you're going to have to pull the bullet after you get your depth set. You know, whether it be just the one case or a couple of cases. And as I said, you know, safety is a major factor, so it's usually a lot safer to do it with a shell that is a case that's just completely empty, no primer or anything. So this is our bullet seating die. Now, how they're set out of the factory varies, and word on the bullets. Now, when starting out, at least for me, I decided to go with the bullet with the cantilever on it. I'll bring that up here. That gives you basically a guide to the depth of your bullet. Okay, it makes it a little easier. You know, you put your die in, which we're going to do. I'm going to turn you over here to the press. Move our light. Well, mine is already set, but this will give you a good idea of what you're going to have to do. Okay, as I said, the cantilever gives you a spot, or a gauge if you want, where to stop. Now, when I did it for the most part, the first time, I just started out and I put the bullet in the casing, pressed it up, it pressed in, then I turned it down a little bit, pressed it up again. You know, I did this like 3 or 4 times, and I took a fresh casing and put it in there, and then put a bullet in it, ran it up, and you know, gave it the final adjustments. You know, I did it within 2 cases. So anyway, this is a good time, because after you pull the bullet, then for the most part you're gonna have to go back and resize this case or cases. So you might as well do that now rather than after you get the primers and everything else in it. So you definitely don't want to be setting your bullet depth with a charged shell. You know, just common sense and safety. You know, the first 2 things on the key factor list. So I'm going to give you we're going to go ahead and set this bullet in there. Now, like I said, I recommend the one with the cantilever. That's your guide for your depth. And I like the boat tail bullets. They got a better ballistic coefficient, you know, flying as far as flying through the air. And they also sit in the top of your case a little easier. Now I'm going to go ahead and press this in. Not very hard, you know, we're going to seat some bullets a little further down the line. Now I'm going to get you a close-up look. So, like I said, adjusting your depth can take a little bit of time. So, okay, now I'm going to give you a demonstration on the bullet puller.